You can tell in Tate's demeanor that he's not a natural fighter. Let me say that again. You can tell he is not a natural fighter. And this does not take anything away from him. It actually adds to his character. I'm giving more credit to him, not taking credit away. Andrew Tate's best advice for young men. He has a lot of beneficial gems to share with young men, which honestly are quite basic, but they've been lost through the feminization of men. And as a result of that, they're actually very valuable, especially in the way that he delivers it. It's less of what he says and more of how he delivers it, how he presents it, how he delivers his message with so much boldness and lack of fear. And, I believe a lot of that is from his years as a fighter, developing that lack of fear in the delivery of his message. I mean, what's there to fear from delivering a simple message when you've been getting your face smashed in for a living, So the first thing that you will hear Andrew speak about often is that passion is BS.
If you really believe in your passion, then you'll make money. That's the worst business advice ever. Do you think the Chinese billionaire, the concrete billionaire in China, you think he's jerking off over concrete? You think he rubs his face on concrete blocks? No, he doesn't give a fuck. He wants to get paid. So this whole passion thing is garbage.
This notion of follow your passion or do what you're passionate about, it became popularized by, you could say, Steve Jobs. There's a lot of self-help gurus who promote this idea that you should do what you are passionate about. And there is some truth to this. And the truth in that statement is, if what you are passionate about is an area whereby you can make money from it, where it's a profitable area, there's a big enough market size, the sample size is big enough to make it into a profitable business model, then hey, amazing, go for it. It's a bonus that you're passionate about it. But you can't be passionate about trombone oil. I remember reading this in one book, I can't remember what book it was now, something along the lines of 3 or 4 quarts, which is like a minuscule amount of trombone oil, are sold per year. So don't be in the trombone oil business, because not enough people play the trombone in order to require trombone oil to service their equipment, their trombone piece of kit, that musical piece of kit. So passion is BS. And he gives a fantastic example of, he's like, do you think the Chinese brick billionaire is passionate about bricks and he sits there rubbing bricks at night? No, he's like, man wants to get paid, bruv. He wants to get paid. He's not passionate about bricks, he's passionate about the money. So passion is BS. If it just so happens that you're passionate about something that also happens to be profitable and also you happen to be good at it, amazing. That's an amazing bonus. But this idea of follow your passion is misleading. It's misleading. It's not a necessity. It's a bonus. That's the first point. Second point is, money is an amplifier. Money is an amplifier. Money amplifies who you already are. There's a brilliant quote, I think it's by our beta friend, Mr. Will Smith. What a fall from grace. Whereby he says, money doesn't change people. Money merely exposes people for who they really are. It exposes them for who they really are. It's an amplifier, as Tate says. It amplifies the person you already are. And to use Tate's language, if you're already top G when you're broke, you'll just become a bigger top G by the time you have lots of money to your name. If you're a nerd and a dork whilst you are broke, you will become a bigger nerd and bigger dork, and all of your insecurities and social anxieties or personality defects will be on steroids with this now new sum of money that you have, this amplified bank account. It simply amplifies your strengths and your weaknesses. Money is an amplifier. So what's the take-home message from that? Well, the take-home message is quite simple. You need to do the work on yourself before you get rich, or before you make a decent amount of money, a substantial amount of money. Because if you don't, and you happen to catch the next wave in crypto and you make 3, 4, 5, 10, 50 million, whatever the case may be, and you haven't done that work on yourself, because it is possible to make those sums of money in this day and age. Of course, unlikely though it is still possible. If you do, you're still a dork. You didn't do the work on yourself. You didn't put that work in. So you're still that same person, because you didn't have to go through stuff in order to become that individual. And this brings me to another point in connection with this point, which is, if you wanted to become wealthy back in the day, we're talking like prior to the technological revolution, you actually had to go through stuff, a lot of hardship and a lot of difficulty in order to amass your fortune. And along the way, you would accrue many life skills, many important life skills you would accrue along the way. So you would become that person. In fact, it would be impossible to gain that level of wealth without actually amassing or accruing those life skills along the way. Now, the game has changed. Crypto or trading or whatever the case may be. There's lots of different ways to make a lot of money very fast in a very short period of time. Shortcutting the process of that personal development is what it is. Shortcutting that process. So become, to use Tate's language, the big G before you amass and accrue that fortune. And by the time you do start making good money for yourself and your wealth builds and all the rest of it, you'll just become an even bigger G. And again, I'm just using his language. Money is an amplifier. Number 3, the importance of fighting. As you guys know, Tate is a 4 times world champion kickboxer. Okay. I'm not sure what federation he is kickboxing world champion in. I know it's not Glory. I'm pretty sure it's not Glory. And Glory, to the best of my knowledge, is the most well-known kickboxing production out there, not to take anything away from Tate, but he is a 4 times kickboxing world champion. I'm just not too sure what type of world champion is, and the reason why I say that is because in sports such as powerlifting, for example, again, full respect to Tate, I'm not disrespecting him, I'm just saying in powerlifting, every man and his dog holds a world record, because there's like 3,000 different federations. I can literally start a new federation today, put up a couple of lifts in an official competition environment, boom, I'm the new world record holder. That's how it is in powerlifting. Powerlifting is a bit of a joke in that regard. I'm not too sure what the kickboxing world is like. I only know about Glory, but I'm sure that the championship he is world champion of is a big time organization. So let's just say that it is. The importance of fighting. You can tell in Tate's demeanor that he's not a natural fighter. And let me say that again. You can tell he is not a natural fighter. And this does not take anything away from him. It actually adds to his character. I'm giving more credit to him, not taking credit away. Why? Some people are just natural dogs. They are born to fight. Savages. Think of the likes of Hamza Chimaev or Justin Gaethje. Those guys, they have no life purpose without fighting. Natural born fighters, dogs. They have to fight. Tate's not that. He's not that guy. And you see it in his interviews afterwards. In fact, in one of his interviews after a MMA fight he had, it was an interview with a black lady in the UK, and I can't remember what level that MMA fight was, but it was a professional MMA fight. And he said, something to paraphrase what he said, the main feeling that I have after a fight is relief.
After 1 minute, 15 seconds, we've got a champion, Andrew Tate. Welcome to Woe TV. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, relieved. I always feel relieved after fights more than happy, so glad that's out of the way. I can get back to civilian life.
That's not the talk of a natural-born fighter. A natural-born fighter, he wants to go again straight away. Think of Hamza when he beat up Jing Liang. What was he saying? He was like, I want to kill everybody. I'm coming for everybody.
Everybody. I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
That's Hamza Chimaev. Natural-born fighter. This only adds to Tate's character. Why? Because he's not a natural-born fighter, and yet he still excelled in the sport of fighting to a very high level, 4-time kickboxing world champion, no less. What's my point? Is that he confronted those fears on the highest stage, on the highest platform, competitive platform. And he overcame those demons. And you can see that in how he conducts himself, how he talks, that power, that energy he has. He is a man who is used to confronting his demons. New levels, new devils. This is old news for him. He's used to it. And fighting, no doubt, had a huge involvement in that development, in that growth, in that formulation of the person that he is today. And this reminds me of something my coach said the other day, my Muay Thai coach. And shout out to Adrian. And I'm sure I'm sure he said it in passing, not thinking much of it, but it played on my mind the whole evening. And he said, guys, because we were sparring, he was like, if you get hurt, don't show pain. Don't show your opponent pain. This is whilst we were sparring. Okay? And I thought to myself, wow, isn't that a metaphor for life? Especially for men. Don't show pain. When you're going through shit, don't show pain. Don't complain, because the truth is, nobody cares. Maybe your mom. Probably your dad doesn't. Shout out to my father. Maybe your mom, and that's about it. Don't show pain. Why? Because, okay, there's a few things here. Number one, when you moan and groan and complain on social media to your friends, to your family, secretly, deep down, these people, or many of these individuals, are actually happy that you're going through this. And they actually might even start to resent you for continually bitching and moaning and complaining. Why? Because they know it's a secret ploy for attention. And any attention that you are gaining for yourself, it's only as a result of you taking it away from someone else. Attention is a zero-sum game. If you are gaining attention for yourself, it's because those eyeballs are no longer paying attention to next man. They are now paying attention to you. So you're just an attention whore. You're just looking for attention when you continually bitch and complain. And secretly, this makes people resentful towards you for wanting to do that or continually doing that. And therefore, they are happy that you're going through what you're going through. So remember, most people don't give a damn about your troubles. And many of them are secretly happy because they know what you're doing. You're just looking for attention. So it's a metaphor for life. Don't show pain. Don't show pain. Now, that's not to say that you let it build up and you don't talk to anyone. No. There are times when I talk with some of my guy friends seeking counsel and advice. Sometimes even I'll sit down and chat with my wife because women think differently to men. I've said this in the past. There are things my wife sees that I don't. There are things women see that you often don't. Why? Men are leaders, captains, natural born leaders and captains, generals, CEOs. Okay? We see the big picture. Part of the blind spot, however, of seeing the big picture is that you miss out on the details. This is the problem. This is why you need your lieutenants on the ground, in the trenches, who are able to feed that detail back to you. And this is where women excel. Women excel in the details. That's why they nitpick all the time, right? Especially in an argument. They don't look at the bigger picture. They look at the details, the tiny little seemingly insignificant thing to you. That's where they excel. So, again, this is where women have their use, in the details. You're the general, you're the commander, you're the CEO. You look at the bigger picture, but you do need someone to feed back those details to you. They are important. So bringing it back around, I'm not saying you shouldn't talk to anyone and you shouldn't get that counsel and that advice. No, if you need to get that counsel and that advice, then so be it. But bitching and moaning and whining and complaining for the sake of it is no good. Put your head on the floor, prostrate to your Lord. Ultimately, He's the only one who can help you anyway. Seek advice from the people. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. Ayah in the Quran. And then after that, if you're still feeling it heavy in your heart, put your head on the floor and complain to your Lord, because He's the only one who can fix it for you anyways. Motivation is a myth. Motivation is a myth. Even if you love what you're doing, even if you enjoy it so much, there will be elements of that thing that you enjoy that are monotonous and boring. And that brings me to another good point. Excellence, high performance, is monotonous. It's a series of repeated actions performed over and 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 over again. That's excellence. I don't care how much you enjoy Coca-Cola. I don't care how much you enjoy your favorite movie. I don't care how much you enjoy burgers. I don't care how much you enjoy Fortnite, whatever your vice is. If you did it over and over and over and over and over again, you'd get bored. You would lose motivation. And that's for something that you love. So what do you think about something that you don't even enjoy? Excellence, high performance is boring. Get used to it. Motivation is a myth. If you happen to feel motivated on any given day or in any given moment, fantastic. It's a bonus. It is not a requirement. It is not even in the equation. It's a bonus. It's about it. And finally, depression is a delusion. Now, you've heard, you might have seen when Tate first went viral on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and he was saying that depression is not real.
Depression is nothing but extreme selfishness. That's what I'm going to call it. And I'm going to tell you why it's not real in a second. But if you're depressed, you're living inside of your mind, you're obsessed with how you feel, you don't care about anything outside of yourself, and you're an exceptionally...
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but what I will say is this, and I've mentioned this in my videos in the past, is that more often than not, people's minds start to unravel as a result of a lack of pressure as opposed to too much. Just as, and I've given this example countless times in the past, a bridge, when its foundations or the structural integrity begins to become compromised, what do engineers do? They place a weight-bearing load on top of the bridge to start to press the structure together, just as when you make a sandcastle and you take the bucket off the sandcastle and it starts to disintegrate. What's your instinctive reaction? One of two things. Put the bucket on top and apply what? More pressure. Or put your hands on top of it and start patting it down together. Once again, applying pressure. Pressure. More people's minds unravel as a result of a lack of pressure as opposed to too much. And the absolute worst thing you can do if you're feeling depressed and all the rest of it is to give yourself a vacation. Lord of mercy, that's the worst thing you can do is go on a vacation. No, you do not need a vacation. You need to work. And I speak specifically to you young men as well. Women are a different kettle of fish. They're a bit more fragile than, they're a lot more fragile than us. Qawarir, as the Prophet ﷺ described them. Fragile vessels. Okay, different kettle of fish. Even they need a little bit of pressure. It's good for a woman to keep her mind solidified. But you, especially as a young man, and this video is Tate's best advice to young men, you need pressure. And if you want to watch that video on depression, check it out. It's somewhere here.